I'm a low life, and I'm loving it. Got the whole damn world in the palm of my hands. I'm a low life, so deal with it. Hey, Eduardo, man. Yeah. Saw him in concert just the other day. Theory of a Dead Man. Awesome. Hey. Well, this is the Afterfight Afterthought. I know it's been forever since this fight happened. Between the Floyd Mayweather and Victor Ortiz fight. And in these, I go over the before, the during, and the after, and I do a little bit of round by round, and I will address a lot of the things that happen in here. If you haven't seen the fight yet, you're probably not watching this video because you're going to watch that fight, you know. So, let's get into it. I'll start out with the after fight, or the winner, which is Mayweather, and then I'll go to the afterthought, the loser, which is Ortiz. Now, normally I break this down and I'll say, oh, well, you know, Mayweather's getting older. This is another risky fight for him. If he wins, it's the same old, same old. If he loses, everything's gone. His legacy is ruined. You know, I mean, there's multiple distractions in his corner. You know, his father, you know, the thing, and then all the legal stuff going on. Is he truly going to be mentally prepared for this fight? I guess I just said that all anyway. Guardo, you just let me ramble, man. Whatever. Okay, and then if you go over to Victor Ortiz, I mean, this is the young lion, right? I mean, he's 10 years younger. He's the bigger fighter. He's the more powerful fighter. You know, he's bringing that youthful aggression, and he's gonna push Mayweather to the links that he hasn't been pushed to since the likes of maybe Castillo or something like that. You know, he's really gonna push him, and it's gonna be an amazing fight, and he truly has a shot at beating him. And then, if he wins, I mean, Pacquiao would probably love to fight him. You know what I mean? Because of the fighting style, the way they fight. And obviously, you have that rematch with Berto. You know, that could happen, you know, for the title. If he loses, well, it's expected, man. I mean, it's Mayweather, you know. Nobody's beaten him yet. Just saying, you know, I mean, what do you say? You show me one person who's beaten Mayweather, and they can't. You know, not on paper. And if you want to bring up Castillo, let's talk about Pacquiao and all them other people's losses, too, okay? So he is undefeated on paper. And, you know, another thing is if the going gets tough, will he cave in? You know, going got rough in the Maidana fight, and he lost it. He mentally broke down in the fight. Now we're going into the fight, and they show this amazing statistic that pops up, and it's that Floyd Mayweather weighed in at 150 pounds for the fight, and Ortiz weighed 164 pounds for the fight. Now, that is a massive amount of weight gain. That's a massive amount to put on before a fight. When you start talking 18 pounds, that's almost unheard of. I mean, really, that's an extreme weight gain. And it could be dangerous, too, because of the fluid. The last to go on is on the head, is the last time you get that fluid back into your body. But when you start thinking about it, he's gained 18 pounds. Now, he hasn't weighed 164 pounds in months of his training. He has not been at this weight. It's a higher weight for him. So, will he still be as fast? Will he still be as effective as he was just even the day prior when he only weighed 147? So that's something that always comes in. And when you got Mayweather, you know, weighing 4 pounds more or 3 pounds more, it's kind of like on that line of, maybe he had a big steak dinner that night or something. You know, your weight can fluctuate 3 pounds in a day like it's nothing. And that's how Mayweather walks around, is he's always at fight weight. So you know he's not going to be affected at all. So going into the fight, you can definitely see the size difference, but you also see the speed difference too. Mayweather is lightning fast. He's able to slip the punches and counter and do pretty much what he wants. I mean, they're starting out there, you know, Floyd's slipping, you know, countering with the right to the body, nice rights to the body, and you know, rights by Mayweather, you know, lefts going in there, 2-3 lefts, jabs, right hands 3 or 4 times the speed, and the lead right hands that Mayweather are throwing are definitely getting through Ortiz's defense, and they're landing flush. And you could even see Ortiz trying to duck his head down, you know, to maybe kind of take a little bit off of it and possibly get him to break his hand on top of his head and stuff. If you don't know boxing, then you don't know that stuff, but that happens in there. Floyd, solid round of dominating. Ortiz really landed nothing of significance in that round. and I gave the round to Mayweather. In the second round, again, you had a lot of rights and from Mayweather, because instead of throwing a jab, Mayweather threw a lead right hand, which is the best thing you can do against the southpaw. He showed that not only does he know how to fight a southpaw, he sticks to it and does it very, very well. Rights and jabs landing by Mayweather, a nice body shot by Ortiz thrown in there. Two rights by Mayweather, they start trading back and forth, and right to the body by Mayweather, another right by Mayweather, and the speed is killing him now. Now Ortiz did crank it up for a brief 10 seconds or so in that round, but it wasn't enough to sway judges, or it wasn't enough to win a round. I mean, Mayweather controlled 2 minutes and 50 seconds of the fight, of that round anyway, and I gave that round to Mayweather as well. The speed is evident, and when you try to hit Mayweather, when you think you've landed a solid shot on him, it's not a solid shot, because you're hitting the arms, or you're hitting his side. You're not getting, a straight in good shot to the body. You're not getting great hooks to the head, because he's turning or he's rolling with all that stuff. Or he gets that shoulder up and he glances off the shoulder, So it's a very, very frustrating thing when you're fighting a fighter like Mayweather. Is just when you think you've got the best punch of the night, he turns that little bit, that little head turn, and it glances off, and you don't get near as much power behind it. And he was using his head a little bit in there too, Ortiz, just saying. A third round, Mayweather comes out with jabs, and more jabs. He's really pumping them out there. Hooks, counter hooks by Mayweather, rights by Mayweather. Mayweather starts using more uppercuts in this round, landing more solid shots. Ortiz is basically throwing one punch, 1-2s, and not really landing anything of any merit. And again, another dominant round by Mayweather in that fight. Now, some of you are saying, well, Ortiz had to land something in there. He did, and but they weren't Mayweather's. When you look at the fight, and if you only watched it once, look at it again. You'll see that those right hands were smoking in there, and they were going right through his guard, and really mashing his face up pretty good. Then they go into the fourth round, and Mayweather's jabbing, then he starts unloading him on Ortiz. Ortiz starts using his head a little bit, and rights by Mayweather, and Ortiz is starting to tee off a little bit, and he gets him into the ropes, and then Mayweather makes him miss 3 or 4, and then all of a sudden, you can see the frustration build up in Ortiz, and he actually left the floor to give a flying headbutt to Mayweather. Now the fight could have been stopped right there, because he had already been warned about giving headbutts, and that one was blatant enough that realistically they could have stopped the fight. They didn't. Cortez lets the fight continue. He takes the point away. Ortiz goes in and he professes that he's sorry profusely. It was only his 6th time using his head in the fight, and Mayweather's like whatever, and then they get in the middle of the ring after it says go. Mayweather leans in, comes back out, and Mayweather's speed, and a lot of people don't want to hear this. Here he comes with that left and the right, and Ortiz is absolutely, he was knocked simple from the hook, and you can see him turn his head sideways to Cortez. He was out of it then, and then that right hand ended the night, and you had a knockout in the 4th round by Mayweather, which totally blew people out of the water, because they can't believe that Mayweather had that. But if you watch the fight, you'll notice that Mayweather took the fight to Ortiz far more than Ortiz took it to him. And Harold Letterman, yeah, if he gets fired at HBO, look me up, bro. I'll take his place. I got no problem with that. I can wear a tux and stuff, and I might even shave. You know what I'm saying? Y'all trim this up, because you be on TV, man. I might even shed another 5 or 10 pounds. Just saying, man. So when you have something like that, obviously you're very, very torn, and a lot of people want to say it was dirty, but it was legal. So at the same time you're talking it's dirty, it's legal, that kind of stuff. People follow Bernard Hopkins. He's the dirtiest dude in the game. He wins, and it's all within the rules. But then you have Ortiz, who blatantly broke the rules, and nobody's coming down on him for doing it. None of this would have happened had Ortiz not done what he did. So please keep that in mind before you rush to judgment, before you jump on here and go, F you, Bigragu, you're a Floyd nut hugger, swinging from his Johnson, and whatever else stuff you guys can come up with. It's pretty colorful, and I enjoy some of the comments, and I might even use them on people later. But you know, so before you think that, or before you jump to those conclusions, please realize that Mayweather didn't break a rule. He was not deducted a point. Ortiz broke the rules, and he got knocked out legally. So, while yeah, there's probably going to be a rematch, maybe that'd be the greatest thing for Ortiz. Personally, he's not in Floyd's league. I mean, if you think Ortiz stood a chance after watching those first 3 rounds, I don't know what to tell you. Floyd would probably tell you the same way he told Larry Merchant. You don't know about boxing. It's a tough thing. I didn't say I liked Floyd the person, but I respect him as a fighter. And when you watched him fight, he had the perfect game plan, and he frustrated Ortiz, and Ortiz broke. It's that simple. He got to Ortiz, and Ortiz broke. Much like he got to Judah, and Judah broke. If you got a mental problem, Floyd will break you down and find a way to make you beat yourself. He doesn't have to beat you; he'll make you beat yourself. So, when you look at Mayweather going to the after the fight, the speed, the experience was too much. And as I said before, was it dirty? I mean, that's a gray area. But the one thing we do know that was dirty was the headbutts. Those were legit. I mean, maybe a rematch with Ortiz, maybe. And aside from Pacquiao, there's really nothing left for Mayweather at welterweight. And he is not a light middleweight. I don't know why people still want to see him fight Martinez. Mayweather walks around at 150 pounds at all times. He is not 154. Or, I mean, if anybody should be fighting light middleweight, it would be Ortiz. He's a 164-pound dude trying to fight at 147. So when you look at that, I mean, he was heads above Ortiz in that. If the judges had it for Ortiz, maybe they need to either A, have their licenses revoked, or they need to go back through and have their vision checked. Just saying. And over on Ortiz's side, a Berto rematch, Maidana rematch, Mayweather rematch. I mean, he's got all these rematches up in the air. He could pick and choose which one he wants. So, I mean, even though he lost, his future is bright. Bright as in money-wise or for his fight-wise. He's actually going to have the ability to go in there, maybe even fight for a title against Berto right off the bat, for a rematch, kind of thing. They're all viable, they're all good matches, and they're matches I think people would like to see. Now, I'm going to go into a different aspect of this now. I'm done with talking about that. And I want to talk a little bit about, people saying they're going to boycott Mayweather fights from here on in until he fights Pacquiao. But you tell me what Pacquiao fight had as much action in it as this one, or even that one round of the Mosley fight that Mayweather had. Guardo? Yeah, you can you? No. When you start looking at the Pacquiao fights, the Clottey, the Margarito, and all those, I mean, those were far more boring, far less entertaining than what Mayweather just did. So, think about that for a while before you, want to slam Mayweather all around. I mean, personally, would I pay for it? Maybe if I had to. I just have to. I find some good links, and I mean, I pay for all my fights and everything like that. I don't try to shirk anybody out of anything. They deserve the money. I give it to them. All right, well, hey, this is Bigragu. Please comment, rate, subscribe if you liked it. Be my friend. If not, be my friend just so you can yell at me or something. Seems like that's what's about to happen. All right, Eduardo, we done? Okay. All right, well, hey, this is Bigragu and Eduardo, and we're out.